Alright, so let's see what we've learned so far. Let's put it to work in this problem. We have a swimming pool can be emptied in 6 hours using a 10 horsepower pump along with a 6 horsepower pump. The 6 horsepower pump requires 5 hours more than the 10 horsepower pump to empty the pool when working by itself. How long would it take to empty the pool using just the 10 horsepower pump? Alright, so we said that when we deal with work problems, we are joining two things together to complete a job. So in this case, we've got a 10 horsepower pump and a 6 horsepower pump that are doing this job together. So we're going to get that figured out first, and then we're going to go back and see what we know. Okay, so the swimming pool can be emptied excuse me, in 6 hours using the 10 horsepower pump along with the 6 horsepower pump. So that's working together. They can do one job in 6 hours. Alright? It says the 6 horsepower pump requires 5 hours more than the 10 horsepower pump to empty the pool when working by itself. How long would it take to empty the pool using just the 10 horsepower pump? Well, it didn't tell us how long it takes the 10 horsepower or the 6 all by itself. The only thing that they told us was that the 6 took 5 hours more than this one. So however long it takes this pump, we don't know, so let's call it one job in X hours. It's going to take this one 5 hours more. So it could do the job in X plus 5 hours. Now we have our equation set up, and we can multiply through by the common denominator, which in this case would be 6x times x plus 5. We have to take a little piece of everything. So I'm going to multiply every single term by that common denominator. When we multiply the first term, our x's will cancel, and we'll have 6 times x plus 5 plus, for our second term, the x plus 5's will cancel. We have 6x times 1 is 6x equals, for our term on the right, the x's will cancel, so we have 1 times x plus 5 is x times x plus 5. Now let's distribute before we collect our like terms. So we'll have 6x plus 30 plus 6x equals x squared plus 5x. And now collecting like terms, 12x plus 30 equals x squared plus 5x. Now this is a quadratic, so in order to solve it, we have to have it equal to 0 and factored. So we're going to move everything over to the right. So that we'll have 0 equals x squared. The 5x minus the 12x would be minus 7x. And when we subtract the 30 over, that'd be minus 30. Now to factor that, let's see, we'd have x times x, and 30, with 1 times 30, that won't work. 2 times 15, that won't work. 3 times 10, that'll work. Would be a negative 10 and a positive 3 would come together to give us a negative 7. Now, separating each one of these factors out, x minus 10 will equal 0, or x plus 3 will equal 0. So when we solve them, we have x equals 10, or x equals negative 3. Now keeping in mind what we're talking about when we say x here. X is how long it takes the 10 horsepower pump to empty this pool. So it can't empty it in negative 3 hours. It has to empty it in 10 hours. Now let's make sure of what they asked us. How long would it take to empty the pool using just the 10 horsepower pump? So in that case it would be 10 hours. Now if they had asked us for the 6 horsepower pump, we could say that would be 10 plus 5, which would be 15 hours. So make sure you're answering the question that's posed.